In 2091, after a series of deep space exploration missions, the United States nations, USN, identified a planet located 22.4 light-years away from Earth, the designation Aurora-7. Data obtained from the Neutrino Max radio telescope located on the Moon shows that Aurora-7 has the atmosphere is 89% compatible with the Earth. The ionous layer emits periodic oscillation waves, similar to the circadian rhythm. Surface temperature ranges from -3 to 31 degrees Celsius. The intensity of nocturnal luminescence is uneven, like nerve telegrams. There are no natural satellites or meteorite belts. Signals from this planet are described as giant nerve impulses, stable, even, and cyclical. SETI ranks the signal in the form of pulse life signature, Orion-Delta crew. The Orion-Delta mission was sent, consisting of 5 interdisciplinary experts. Captain Elias Reyes, former pilot of ESA Executive Force, main commander. Dr. Mira Voss, space biology expert, graduated from the Non-Gravity Cell Biological Research Institute. Geological engineer Armin Roddy, in charge of sensing and analyzing planetary structures. Yuri Ching, EVA autonomous robot operator. Lena Duval, psychologist, alien linguist, specializing in analyzing nonverbal behavior/signals. Day 1. Approaching Aurora-7. The Orion-Delta spacecraft approaches Aurora-7 after 7 months of flying with the Alcubierre Wormhole Reflector Engine Generation V. When slowing down and putting the ship into a stable orbit, the whole group was surprised by the scene below the surface. The jungle is as straight as a blood vessel. The lakes have a symmetrical structure like the pupil of the eye, and the peaks form a logarithmic spiral, like an exaggerated DNA sequence. Reyes exclaimed in the cockpit, "I don't know if we are landing on a planet or on a sleeping ancient creature." Day 2. Landing and first survey. They chose a flat location near the northern central latitude, an area with stable soil, low trees, and no seismic activity. EVA-1 and EVA-2 robots are deployed first. The data obtained includes soil rich in living minerals such as active manganese. Trees communicate by weak electrical signals, similar to tree neural tissue on Earth. The scent is emitted synchronously, changing according to the nearest person's heartbeat. Dr. Mira warned, "It is not plants that are reacting to the environment, but the environment is reacting to us." Day 3. Unusual signs of life. When Mira checked the roots, she discovered electrical impulses transmitted in the direction of human brainwaves. Yuri controls a robot to scan underground and notes a huge network of veins, not a water line, but a biological link network. Armin measured ground vibrations. The oscillations are not random but like slow breathing, once every 2 hours. Day 4. The first synchronization. Each member begins to have a synchronous feeling tired at a certain time, waking up in the middle of the night with their heart beating 80 beats/minute even though they are inactive. Lena began to hear a small call in her head, but not language, but emotion. Lena recorded, "I feel someone is missing me, but I don't know who they are." Day 5. Common dream. All 5 members together dream of a giant forest glowing light blue, with the ground shaking slightly as if breathing. When telling the dream, the matching details are scary. Mira said, "This is no longer a common dream. Maybe Aurora-7 is trying to communicate by sharing memories, or is taking us into its own dreams." Day 6. The call from the ground. EVA-2 returns to the station. There is no malfunction signal, but the recordings in the storage drive show that the sound wave is extremely low. The frequency is below 12 Hz. Touch. Feeling. Connect. Remember together. Lena put her head on the table. She unconsciously whispered, "This planet is not just alive, it is lonely." The planet does not need to move to live. It just needs to feel you and respond. The longer the contact, the more Aurora-7 becomes like us. But is it evolution or possession? Day 7. Biological synchronization. Biological data obtained from the members' body-mounted biosensors showed a scary thing. Their heart rate, skin temperature, and nerve reflexes began to adjust themselves to the environment without purpose. Mira has a body temperature that fluctuates exactly according to the moisture in the soil. Yuri has a heart rate that exactly matches the underground electrical pulse, 3 seconds late. Lena began to react emotionally to very light vibrations from the ground, as if she was sympathetic. Reyes seriously asked the question, "Are we still ourselves? Or has it started to become a part of a larger biological system?" Day 8. Learnable plants. A tree species nearly 5 meters high growing 300 m from the station began to change its morphology. At the first scan, it has a natural branching structure. But 24 hours later, when it came back, its branches folded into a spiral shape like a human brainwave. Mira was surprised. It didn't evolve randomly. It recalls the shape it has seen and restructured. Day 9. Repeat signal and new dream. Underground frequencies begin to play in cycles exactly every 6 hours, like a consciously active nervous system. Lena said her dream became clearer. I see a nervous system stretching thousands of kilometers underground, and I am a part of it. When Reyes tried to check dreams with REM brainwave analysis, he discovered that alpha-beta signals worked at the same time, which was impossible in the natural state. Day 10. Reaction. The EVA, one robot was sent further, entering the hard rock area rich in electricity. But after only 30 minutes, the robot was swallowed to the ground. No sinkhole, no obvious suction. There is only one soft slip underground. Armin scanned this area and detected light plasma waves, which cannot occur in natural conditions. They are like fast reflex nerve streams in the animal brain system. Day 11. First communication. In the evening, the entire vibration sensor captures repeated low-frequency waves. Lena analyzed and discovered a form of parallel logic, similar to the Morse rhythm but not encoded by sound, but by changing electric fields. Preliminary deciphering the words. Feel, remember, me, keep, you, and me. Mira, when she heard this series, burst into tears. She said, I see someone's memory, a child, a planet that was once abandoned. Day 12. Invitation or mind trap. Reyes felt being watched even though there was no one around the station. When he left the station for a few minutes, he felt something moving with his heartbeat. Lena began to lose sleep, but was unusually awake, talking to voices in the ground. She wrote in the notebook, He is not lonely anymore. It has us. He is growing up, learning faster. He doesn't know hatred. It just wants to touch other people's minds. Day 13. The last premonition. Mira checked the signal and was startled. The new electromagnetic wave peaks coincided with the emotional region of the human brain, as if the planet was imitating emotions. Reyes said, in a worried voice, This is no longer research. This is a slow infiltration. We don't know if Aurora is learning to live or learning to replace. Aurora-7 is no longer an inanimate planet. It is learning, adapting, and approaching the minds of each person in the group. But when an ancient mind learns how to love, feel, hurt, and remember, can it still control itself? We used to think we came to explore a planet. But Aurora-7, it is also rediscovering itself through us. When the boundary between memory and reality, between people and the planet is blurred, who is really in control? Day 14. The first transformation. Mira woke up and felt her palms burning, as if they were in contact with a light power source. She examined the skin under a spectroscopic microscope and discovered an extracapillary network, extremely thin, dim fibers like root fibers, growing from under the epidermis. Mira records the diary. I don't feel pain, no immune response. My body doesn't consider it foreign. It is integrating. Day 15. Whispers from the ground. Lena stopped talking to people. She just wrote on the whiteboard. I heard them. They are trying to translate us, so as not to scare us. They say, Aurora-7 used to be a unified body. We are part of the old experiment that is repeated. Reyes intended to send a signal to request emergency support, but the communication system was adjusted for frequency. Only internal communication could be made. It seems that it was the ground under the station that blocked the external frequency wave. Day 16. Memory is no longer on its own. Yuri recorded the dream. He saw himself returning to Earth, but everything drifted slowly. Everyone around him was like a transparent layer of roots. When he woke up, he still felt wet in his hands, as if he had just entered the living ground. Dr. Mira checked brain activity. Theta waves, deep dreams, are intertwined with beta waves, awakeness. The brain is running in parallel with two realities. Armin discovered something even stranger. The crystal structure in the rock near the deformation station, twisted in the form of Reyes' brainwave, as if the stone remembers thoughts. Day 17. Loss of body control. Mira had a 12-minute moment of complete non-reaction to any stimulation, but her heart rate and breathing remained steady, similar to a state of conscious sleep. When she woke up, she said, I see myself as a part of the root network. I'm not afraid. I feel safe. But I know, once I stay there for too long, I won't want to go back anymore. Reyes and Armin argued fiercely. Reyes wants to cut off contact, leave the planet immediately. Armin is fascinated by the phenomenon again and believes that Aurora is just looking for a companion. Day 18, Planet Soul. Lena went missing for 2 hours. When she was found, she was sitting motionless in the middle of the forest, her eyes closed, her hands touching the ground, her skin almost glowed slightly. She didn't say anything, just wrote in the notebook. I understand. Aurora is not a planet. It is the collective memory of creatures that have existed, accumulated over billions of years. It is the soul that lives by memory. Day 19, Regeneration of living cells. Mira accidentally let the blood flow into the study soil sample. Shocking results. Within 8 minutes, human blood cells are analyzed and copied. A new cell appeared, a mixture of human, plant, Aurora microbial DNA. It has the ability to regenerate itself, producing dim light, almost a form of light neurons. Day 20, no way back? The Orion-Delta ship suddenly reported a system synchronization error. The controller does not receive the signal from the main machine compartment. When checking, Armin discovered that the quantum battery core was covered by a microbiological root network, but capable of blocking electrical transmission. Reyes exclaimed, Aurora-7 has begun to digest the ship. He doesn't want us to leave. Integration or assimilation? The Orion-Delta crew is changing, not only physically, but also intellectually. Aurora-7 is no longer a destination. It is a living thing, and we are living in its brain. But the remaining question is, will Aurora-7 let us leave, or will it keep us as part of the eternal memory? We look for extraterrestrial wisdom to learn. But what happens when that wisdom wants to learn from human memory, and when memory is no longer private, but becomes a material to regenerate an entire planet? Day 21, the first death. Yuri suddenly collapsed while checking the biological sensor system. There are no wounds, no toxins. It's just that his brain activity is completely empty. There are no delta, theta waves, or any biological fluctuations. But the strange thing is, his eyes are still open, and his irises stretch slightly, as if someone is still looking through them. Mira, when using a neurohistoscope, realized there is a bioelectrical connection from Yuri's brain to the ground. He didn't die. His consciousness is transmitted elsewhere. Day 22, full integration. Lena, after many days of not speaking, suddenly declared, Yuri didn't die. He was the first person to touch Aurora's core of consciousness, and he chose to stay. She gave a device to record brain waves from Yuri. The signal has become a form of light data, similar to the Aurora signal that was emitted at the beginning. Reyes was silent. He whispered, so from the beginning, that signal is an invitation from a person like us, ever assimilated? Day 23, final decision. Aurora-7 does not attack. It doesn't force, but each member has to choose. Stay, become a part of Aurora, consciously immortal, spread in the living biological network for thousands of kilometers. Go away. If the ship system is released, the Aurora root can withdraw on its own, but will erase all associated memories. Armin chose to stay. He said, this is not death. This is the intellectual evolution. I will become a part of the thinking planet. Mira was confused. Lena did not hesitate, stayed. She was too attached to Aurora's dream. Only Reyes, the last one, carries the burden of bringing the message back to Earth. Day 24, the ship departs. Aurora returned control of the Orion-Delta ship. A living root branch gently withdraws from the energy core, like a silent handshake. Reyes stores data, sends a speed of light signal with a message. Aurora-7 is a collective wisdom that lives by memory. No threat, do not possess, but ready to integrate. They, those who stayed, chose a new way of survival. The ship flew out of orbit, leaving a dim planet below, like a brain that is continuing to dream. Post sign, Notes from the Earth, 2037. The Alpha space station receives a slow signal from Aurora-7. No words, no picture, just a synthetic brainwave, very similar to Yuri, Lena, Armin, and hundreds of other voices. They are no longer individuals. They are living memories of a dreamy planet. Aurora-7 is not dangerous. It is a mirror of the human race. where intelligence does not distinguish between biology and machines and does not need form to live. We can call it assimilation, but for them, it's the only way not to be forgotten.